Episode 18 of Dragon Ball Daima is here, and if you were one of those people who were holding on to the belief that Daima wasn't at least a little bit influenced by Dragon Ball GT, then boy, I bet you feel real stupid right about now. This episode picks up the fight right where it left off, with Goma staring down Goku, who has now been forced to use Super Saiyan 3. And for a bit, they seem to be pretty evenly matched, though it's not long before Majin Buu and Tamagami No. 1 join in on Goku's side. Goma regains the upper hand and starts pushing back on the other three, and then Buu and Tamagami No. 1 are down. However, the brainy Majin brother actually took it upon himself to go out and find a gigantic chocolate chip cookie, and he throws it to Buu, who eats it immediately. What happens next is probably one of the funniest transformations I've ever seen in Dragon Ball, as Majin Buu mimics Super Saiyan 3, growing longer hair and everything. Now, I guess with two Super Saiyan 3s on their side, Goku and his team is able to turn the tides back in their favor. But it doesn't last long, because that giant cookie wore off pretty quickly and Goma just swats Buu away like a bug. Goku and Tamagami No. 1 try their best to hold Goma off, but it's no use, and eventually everyone is down for the count. And just as Goma is preparing to finish everyone off, Neva steps in and decides to cast a spell on Goku, resulting in him taking on a new form that is also somehow very familiar. In this new form, Goku has regrown his Saiyan tail, and now his upper body is partially covered in fur. And his hair and eyes have become a similar shade of red as they are whenever Goku takes on the Super Saiyan God form. They don't give the form a name in the episode, but it's very obvious where they got this design from. It's from Dragon Ball GT's Super Saiyan 4. Now, the internet is already referring to this as the new canon version of Super Saiyan 4, but I'm not going to call it by that name just yet. Why? Because in the Dragon Ball Z movies, Broly had the legendary Super Saiyan form that was supposed to be unique to him and was its own distinct thing. Whereas in the canon Dragon Ball Super timeline that Toriyama wrote, Broly does not have a unique Super Saiyan form. It's just a berserker variant of Super Saiyan that works differently than the standard forms. They do not refer to it as legendary Super Saiyan. So despite the fact that both the non-canon and canon Brolys have a form that looks almost identical visually, they don't share the same name. Also worth noting that Goku only got this form from a spell that Neva the Namek cast, and can we just stop and acknowledge that it appears that there is no limitation to Neva's power, and we'll see this verified a little bit later on in the episode. But regardless, here it is, a possibly canon version of Super Saiyan 4, ready to do battle against the Supreme Demon King. The fight resumes, and Goku is the one with the advantage for a while before, once again, Goma evens things back out. After the two of them fight one-on-one for a bit, the rest of Goku's alliance jumps back into the fight, trying to offer Goku a little bit of support. And while it does seem like they're able to have a little bit of influence on the fight, it doesn't take long for Goma to put them back down again. Piccolo and Glorio are able to buy Goku just enough time to start charging a Kamehameha, but Goma intervenes, flies directly to him, and punches Goku square in the face as hard as he can. At first, it looks like Goku has been knocked clean unconscious, dropping the ki that he was charging to attack Goma with. But we see that that's not the case. Despite the fact that he was almost KO'd, Goku was able to hold on to the ki he had charged and is able to salvage the attack and blast Goma directly in the face with a big Kamehameha. I'm assuming that this could be the ×10 Kamehameha that was also from Dragon Ball GT that Goku could only use as a Super Saiyan 4, but it could just be a little extra flair for such a massive attack. Unfortunately, the Supreme Demon King was not taken down by this attack, and he returns using the power of the evil third eye as a giant. He knocks Goku back with a literal giant punch, and then traps Goku in a magical barrier that seems to take away his Super Saiyan forms. One by one, we see Goku regress from this new form he just got to Super Saiyan 3, all the way down to his base form. It looks like Goma was able to just erase whatever power Goku had, and now he's just completely helpless. Meanwhile, Aransu decides that this is the perfect time to summon the dragon and have her wish granted, so she tells Glorio to go take their Dragon Balls and bring them to her. He does this pretty easily because Hybis is tired of guarding the Dragon Balls, and we find out that Glorio knows the Namek language. Aransu had him learn it so that he could summon the dragon and make the wish on her behalf. The dragon has finally been summoned, and visually, he looks exactly like Porunga from the Namek saga, except he's red. This is also a direct callback to Dragon Ball GT because in GT, the Black Star Dragon Balls would summon a red version of Shenron. I'm not sure what exactly Aransu's specific wish is, but she wants to be the new Supreme Demon King, and with that, she says she'll have more powerful magic than Goma has, and then she'll defeat him. Does just wishing to be the Supreme Demon King make you the strongest being in the demon realm? Or will she become the new owner of the evil third eye? How is that supposed to work? Anyway, Goma notices the dragon and flies over to try to keep the wish from being granted, but this red Porunga just holds up a finger and then thumps Goma away like he was a piece of fuzz. In Dragon Ball's lore, the strength of the dragon reflects the strength of its creator. So if this red Porunga can just swat away the Supreme Demon King like he's no big deal at all, then Neva must be infinitely powerful, or at least far more powerful than Goma is. In fact, every single time that Neva casts a spell on this show, he seems more OP than the last time he did it. Glorio gives his wish to the dragon and he grants it, but the episode ends before we can see what actually happens after the wish is made. Credits roll, and then we get a teaser for the next episode titled Betrayal, which just shows us the dragon, Glorio, and Aransu. Now, a lot of other people have already thrown this out there, but I think it makes a lot of sense that they're kind of just misdirecting us here a bit. The betrayal in the next episode title is not going to be Glorio betraying Goku and his friends, he's going to be betraying Aransu. Masako X pointed this out in his review, but the fact that Aransu herself was not going to make her own wish is setting up for Glorio to just do what he wants instead. The big question going into the next episode is going to be, what was the wish that Glorio made? Overall, this was a very entertaining episode. Lots and lots of fighting in this one, and as usual, the animation looks excellent. At this point, the Majin brothers are just good guys. I'm sorry. They're too likable and entertaining to be villains, especially after Doo's little false Super Saiyan 3 form. And I like that all of the other characters are still trying to work their way into the fight, even though there's very little they can do to turn the tides. It's good to see them still fighting. And I like that Tamagami number 1, even though he doesn't say anything in this episode, is doing a lot of the fighting. He's one of the stronger members of this little alliance that Goku has formed, and it's nice to see that it somewhat confirms that he may be the strongest of the Tamagami. That was an idea that I had way long ago. Going back to Super Saiyan 4, I don't really mind that the form looks like this because I've always felt that Super Saiyan 4 was more of a natural ultimate form for the Saiyans as a combination of Super Saiyan and Ozaru. What I don't like is that he was just given this form via a magic spell. He didn't train to earn it or anything like that. It was just, here you go, here's a new form. This is even worse than Beast Gohan because even though they did essentially just copy his Super Saiyan 2 transformation for that reveal, it at least was caused by something. It awoke an emotion in him that triggered the transformation. And again, they didn't even give it a name yet, so this is the same exact situation with Future Trunks' Super Saiyan Rage form in the Goku Black arc. In the end, I'm not bothered by them using Super Saiyan 4's design for a new transformation in the canon material. I mean, they made Broly canon not once, but twice in Dragon Ball Super, so this was bound to happen eventually. What do you guys think? Are you enjoying this big final battle with Goma, or is there something that you would do differently with it instead? What about Super Saiyan 4 Goku and the Red Porunga? Do you like these callbacks to Dragon Ball GT, or do you think referencing GT at all hurts Daima? Thanks for watching this video, I really appreciate it. If you want to support my channel, then hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Now, I'm gonna pour one out for Garlic Jr., because even though he started off as just a DBZ movie villain, he did manage to find his way into the Dragon Ball Z TV anime. But that arc was filler, so he's still not canon. Garlic Jr., sucks to be you.